Well, this is something that I have to remind myself every morning. So many of us want to make an impact in the world. If you ask people what their purpose is, there will be something around, I want to make an impact in the world. But I always ask myself the question, and I want your listeners to ask this question themselves. How can you make an impact in the world if you're only tiptoeing through life?
We must know why we are doing what we are doing, and this can be really very strong. Sometimes it is important that we have this deeper drive that is helping us to move on. And sometimes this purpose can be beyond what we are doing, and sometimes it can be beyond our life entirely.
Ensuring that the people that we surround ourselves with are the right people. Now, we won't know that at first. It's a learning game, right? It's just like when you're dating. Dating should be about collecting data. Is this the right person for me? That's the same thing with the networking. When we're networking, we have to understand, is this the right person for me? And not necessarily is it going to be the right person who can end up being a client, because they could end up being a friend. They could end up being a great referral partner. They could end up being a great business partner. So there's different ways that we need to associate and put people into the right compartment.
Thank you for checking out Obehi Podcast. We encourage people to own their story and share it with the world to expand their purpose. Before we start this presentation, I have something to quickly share with you. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract your ideal client by leveraging your own story? Then pay attention. I have a signature program that can help you own your story. A 5-step transformative journey to reshape your professional and business narrative for success in less than 90 days. And it's available at academy.aclasses.org/story. This is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument known to man. And this is what that could mean to you. You can either own your story and use it to advance your purpose in your business and professional life, or someone else will do. The choice is yours. Now let's get started with today's episode of the Obehi Podcast.
I'm Michelle Raymond. I'm a leadership executive coach. I work with corporate organizations to ensure that they have a sustainable leadership pipeline and ensuring that they are culturally sensitive to the other employees and other leaders within their organizations. And not only do I do that, but I work with entrepreneurs who want to source and secure corporate engagements, corporate speaking gigs, contracts. And the reason why I do what I do is literally because I saw that there was a gap in the market between the number of entrepreneurs, especially diverse entrepreneurs, which means small business owners, minority ethnic business owners. I saw a disparity between them working in the corporate as a contractor, as a freelancer, as a supplier. And I wanted to change how that came across. I wanted to change the game for entrepreneurs so that they can sell more of their products, make more money, and make a bigger impact.
That's lovely. That's lovely, Michelle. We have a lot of things in common here because in A-Classes Media, we are entirely about that, which is being able to raise our head high in the corporate world because we deserve to be in this space too. We're not just asking for a favor from anybody because we are here. We are really fully here and we are capable of producing quality product also in the market. So we deserve to be here. So now what we do here is we take some time to learn about you, like I was telling you before we start to record. So tell me, you were born in the UK, is that correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
Tell me about you, the young Michelle just growing up. What do you see around yourself?
Um, so growing up, I was brought up as a Christian. So we came from a very strict household. I was the only child. My parents split up when I was very young, and I was my mother's pride and joy. And even up until now, I'm, almost 50, and we are the best of friends, best of friends, best of friends. We travel together. I mean, so many people have come up to me and said, "Oh, Michelle, I didn't even know you were married," because I travel with my mum everywhere. We go on holiday together, we go shopping together, we eat out together. Um, and I think with her, the way that she brought me up and my faith in God has been the catalyst to every piece of success I've had in my life. Without a shadow of a doubt. Um, my upbringing and my faith in God, my parents, my mother, and actually my family in general have been, even in the darkest moments that I've had, and I've been through quite a lot, and which has been publicized. I've done a TED Talks about it. It's been on the news, but they were the foundation of strength when I needed it the most. So growing up, I had a great life growing up. To be fair, no problems. I had no issues. Money wasn't really an issue. My mum always put me first and gave me the best. Out of nothing, she still gave me the best. So I had a brilliant upbringing.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that sharing. So when you were still like younger, now you are moving towards maybe living a thing, no? What is your kind of projection? What were you looking at in front of you? What were you pursuing at the time?
Okay, so when I was younger, I actually wanted to do journalism. And so being a journalist, and writing for magazines and newspapers, that's what I wanted to do. But I found that it was very corrupt, and that didn't fit into my values at all. And then I fell into HR, and some of the main characters within the HR industry, that's who I used to follow, very industry specific leaders. And I wanted to see how I could add value to the world of work through helping organizations do the right thing and be fairer to employees. That's what I wanted, because when I was pregnant, I was made redundant. And I'm thinking, but that can't be right. Uh, how I could be made redundant while I was pregnant, and how I was treated. I didn't want any other employee to go through that. So I reskilled from journalism to HR, and I had got my degree in that. Then I got my postgraduate degree, my master's in human resource management, and I went into a company, started doing HR. Then I found that I'm better off leading. I'm very much more of a leader than somebody who follows. So I ended up leaving that job after being there for about 15 years, and I set up my own HR consultancy, supporting small, medium businesses with their HR and making sure that they treated their employees fairly. That was credible, and that was really important to me. So that's how the journey of HR, and then it led to where I am now. But it was just another thing. But yeah, it definitely was a journey. Started my own business. Oh my gosh, when I get to explain that, you'll think what? Yeah, it's a very what situation. But I'm still here, like 8 years later.
That is about resilience. Somehow we say quite often that the story of the African diaspora, if it need to be written or any time need to be written, the word resilient can never be missing in it because
Never.
we are resilient people. We face a lot of challenges, but we are still there. We are not leaving. We are not going anywhere. This is our flag. We must let it fly. You see, you were saying something important yesterday because yesterday we were talking about the business storytelling series, which we do every 14 days. So you share something important there, that sometimes we can also share ordinary story. In fact, when you were saying that, what one of the things that actually came to my mind, there were a lot of things that came to my mind, like I also responded, is the word that was said by, I think, Maya Angelou or Toni Morrison. I think it's Toni Morrison now, who was saying that we need to look at the ordinary, because there is a lot of things that is happening in the ordinary. Only that
Yes.
people are so focused on the extra large, focusing on what is said by CNN because BBC is saying that. But life is not only happening in the BBC world. What is happening around you? Because by the time we are able to recollect all those information, what used to be ordinary become extraordinary now.
Yes. Mhm. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what? A lot of people see me online and think I'm extraordinary. They know my story, and I don't know if you've know the background where I'm coming from, in the sense of uh, I was I was married. I was married before. I'm married again, but I was married before, and that's who I have my daughter with, who's now 19. But at the time, my ex-husband was found guilty of molesting children. He was put in prison. It was on the news, on the same BBC that you mentioned. It was in the newspapers, and because we went to church, it exploded in church, as you can imagine. Now, when all this was happening, I had to be strong, but for me, it was this was life. This is what I was dealt with. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but this is what I've been dealt with. And um and I did struggle, because I did fall into depression, and going up to the courts and listening and hearing all these testimonies about this person who I thought I knew. It really did have take a toll on myself and on my daughter. And roll on years later, a lot of people said to me, "My gosh, Michelle, that was how you got over it, how you dealt with it, how you came across was amazing. It was extraordinary." But that was my life. So it was very much ordinary. I didn't plan for it. I don't know what I done to deserve it. But this is where you talk about the ordinary, where other people see your ordinary life as extraordinary, and how I managed it, and how I was able to rebuild my life afterwards made it extraordinary. So the ordinary Michelle, I am now remarried. My daughter is 19. She's healthy. She is secure. She is blessed. She has a full-time job in luxury real estate. I run my own business. My husband is happy and healthy. This is our ordinary life, where we cook, we watch TV, we go out for walks, we go out for meals. But what other people see is, they see resilience, they see strength, they see inner focus, inner power. Because at the same time I'm running a successful business, I'm running a two successful events, and I put in the hours. And so when we talk about storytelling, when people see me online and think, "Oh my God, she's running this big event in London and she's doing another big event in Dubai," they don't understand the price I had to pay to get here. And every day, I am grateful to God to be able to get up and do what I do, because there was a time when I was totally invisible. There was a time when I couldn't get out of bed. There was a time when social services were at my door. There was a time when police wanted to break down my door. But now I stand here today, and I feel like I am an ordinary person that just does extraordinary things. That's it.
All right, I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I need a simple answer for the people that are listening. Where is the strength coming from? Therefore, the resilience that we're talking about.
From God. From God. I can't mix that. I have to pray for strength daily. Um, my strength comes from God. It's prayer, it's fasting, it's focus, it's faith. That's where my strength comes from, simply.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing that story. Of course, only because of time, we would have been able to explore more on that, to look at some of the details of that story. But for time's sake, because we don't have the luxury of time for this particular episode today, we will leave that there for now so that we move into what you do today. Building resilience business or businesses through what you might call strategic network or
Mm,
networking and corporate. What do you mean
yes.
by that, Michelle?
So, many of us as entrepreneurs, we sell B2C, and we're in a cost of living crisis, whether you want to accept it or not. But yet, we still need to make money for our household, for our family, to build the lifestyle that we want. But what I think a lot of us miss out is how to build strategic networks with corporations where you can sell your existing services to these organizations that have the resources, that have the money to be able to pay you what you're worth, so that when you want to serve the real people that matter to you, the consumers, other entrepreneurs, you are able to do that and reduce your charges so that they can get the help that they need. Because more often than not, the people that need our help are usually the ones that can't afford our help. So why don't we then be wise and build those strategic relationships with organizations that can and will pay you, so now you have the money you require that you need, and now you can serve the people that you truly want at the highest standard without the pressure of them saying they can't afford it, they need a payment plan, and everything else that happens. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. All right, when you were responding, the word that was coming into my mind is effective networking. Because, of course, all of us are in network. Our entire system is a network. You see, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the hair, the hands, the bloodstream, the bones, they are each separate part, but they are networking together to make the human machine work. So even from the regular, or you can say the simple human anatomy, we can see that we are network. We are a piece of information just working together. But sometimes some of the network that we are in, looking at the area of business, might not be very effective.
Hmm. Hmm.
And because that is the case, how do you describe effective networking? So that is the one people should be leaning towards. What do you say about that?
So, and we talk a lot about networking and effective networking, but I don't think that we've all hit the mark. And let me tell you why I say that when we're talking about effective networking. When we go to events, this is what I do when I go to events. When I go to events, I want to know who's going to be in the room. I try and connect with them on LinkedIn first, like probably some of the speakers, some of the sponsors. So then when I see them, I can say, "Oh, I'm Michelle. We spoke on LinkedIn previously," to just to reduce any friction. Uh, and then the next stage is ensuring that the people that we surround ourselves with are the right people. Now we won't know that at first. It's a learning game, right? It's just like when you're dating. Dating should be about collecting data. Is this the right person for me? That's the same thing with the networking. When we're networking, we have to understand, is this the right person for me? And not necessarily is it going to be the right person who can end up being a client, because they could end up being a friend, they could end up being a great referral partner, they could be end up being a great business partner. So there's different ways that we need to associate and put people into the right compartments. And and I always say, test your network when you're at your lowest ebb. Can you pick up the phone and call? What tends to happen, we talk about, oh, we have these mentors, we have these coaches, but they're unreachable, they're untouchable. You can't reach out to them when you need them. Your real network are people that you can pick up the phone to, you can send a WhatsApp to, and they will respond. They will then find a way to make your life just that much better. You never come off the phone call feeling depressed that your battery levels have gone down. Your right network will uplift you. They will show you different ways to look at things. Not necessarily that you agree with everything you say, because that's not what we want. Yeah, we want people that can challenge us, that can stretch us, that can give us opportunities and allow us to see perspectives that we won't be able to see ourselves. That's what creating real effective networks is all about.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, tell me about the purpose, because now you are telling somebody that you are going to remain consistent because challenges are going to come and they are going to
Yes.
be a bucket full, or maybe let me call it a trailer load of it. There are very many. No, if you are in the business environment, you know that there are very many, but you are going to you are going to continue consistently every day moving on. Which means you are going somewhere.
Mhm.
You must have a mission, therefore a very strong purpose that keep you in the room. Tell me more
Yes.
about that, Michelle.
Yeah. um, when we're talking about purpose, it's going to look different from person to person. And for me, purpose is a drive that, irrespective of how I feel, irrespective of what the weather is like, irrespective of what's going on in my life, I have to fulfill this mandate. I believe for me that God has laid something on my life where He has said, when I mean, it's like I audibly heard Him whisper that I want you to be like the modern day Moses and set certain people free. And when I mean, and what I'm talking about that is free from, yeah, who said it? I think it was Bob Marley, right? Mental slavery, where you feel like you can't do something because you're not good enough, you're not light enough, you're not the right gender, all of that. And my mandate is to show people you are more than people think you are. You're more than what you think you are yourself. And this is why I do what I do when it comes to getting entrepreneurs in front of corporates, because I'm seeing too often entrepreneurs and living from month to month. Like they get paid, it goes straight out with their outgoings. How can we build a sustainable business? And part of building that sustainable business is having multiple streams of income. So we have property and we have assets, but one of them is actually selling your existing services to people that can pay you. To people that can pay you and who can pay you handsomely. So that's really important to me. And that's my purpose. I'm organizing this event. And I'll be very honest with you, the event that I'm organising, I've been feeling slightly down about it because I'm thinking, oh my God, people are taking so long to book, but we know how people stay. They take so long and leave everything to the last minute. And I'm not a last minute person. So I'm having to deal with that. And as I sit here, I have what I call a war room. And my war room is where I've got all the things I'm working on and I have prayer points over them because my purpose is to get more entrepreneurs in front of corporates. And that means putting on this event where I bring together the corporates. So I have Meta coming, Lloyd's Banking Group, BP, Heinz, Tesco's, and some other big brands. I have them coming in the room because, and I want to bring my diverse business owners in the room so that they can learn firsthand. Now, when I can't be bothered to send out an email, when I can't be bothered to show up on camera to do another video, I have to remember what was my purpose, what was my mandate, and that pushes me through. Every morning it pushes me through. Sometimes I just want to stay in bed. Sometimes I just think, why don't I just become an employee? It'd be easier. I'll have regular income, no peaks and troughs. But then I remembered what God whispered. I have given you a mandate to set people free. And that's what I've got to do.
That's so good. That's so good. All right, now let's take a notch deeper into that.
Yes.
How do you find your purpose?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'll tell you why it's hard. How did I find my purpose? I think my purpose came from what I spoke about earlier after the issue with my ex-husband, because I sat in church one day because I was feeling guilty. Like, did I not read the signs? How did I not see it? I live with him, and I felt a lot of guilt. And in church, the pastor must have said something that we hear all the time. But that particular time, it resonated. And he said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, which said to me, I need to change my mindset. For me to change my mindset, I need a purpose. And as I sat down, I know exactly where I was. That's the purpose. That's when purpose has dropped in my spirit. I had to get up. I had to be visible. I had to make a stand. I had to open the door for other people. This pain, the pain that we go through, is not the pain for us. The pain we go through is to create purpose for our life. So that's the situation I was in. I had to see this as what's my next steps. And that's my purpose was born as I sat on that chair. After that, everything changed. I started to make more of an effort. Uh, I remember when I got home the next day, I rang social services. I told them, do not come to my house again. I know what I'm doing. And from that day on, things just shifted. So I think may come in a time of solitude and reflection. It comes in a time when you just need to be by yourself and hear. It's different from other for different people. For me, I had to hear from God. Some people might hear from different things, but that's where your purpose comes in a time of solitude and reflection, and then it changes the game.
Thank you so much for that sharing. You know, that is really very powerful, no? In that you now know what you are doing. Not that you didn't know what you are doing before, ma. Now you got a different purpose behind what you are
Mhm.
doing. All right, now I have a signature program that is ready now that people can sign into. It's about helping people to find their purpose. Of course, this is entirely about the storytelling series that we are into. In that, through your story, through knowing what have happened to you, you can understand why you are where you are today. That is also going to determine what is going to happen to you in the future. Of course, there are different approach that we take into that. Now, the point is that if we don't find a deeper purpose behind what we are doing, if we are in business just because of the money, we might not go. We might even get the money, but we are not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Because what kind of life is that if we are not happy, despite the fact that we might have everything? So having a purpose for me, particularly, and for A-Classes organization, is important for us in that we must know why we are doing what we are doing. And this can be really very strong. Sometimes it is important that we have this deeper drive that is helping us to move on. And sometimes this purpose can be beyond what we are doing, and sometimes it can be beyond our life entirely. I remember, for example, I was talking to a professor of transpersonal psychology in the UK, and he was telling me, of course, looking at in fact theology, that when you find your purpose, which of course you must find, you realize that the purpose is not for you to serve yourself. And this is fundamentally important in that you see, you need to know why you are doing the thing, but why you are doing the thing is not for you. You must understand that you are here to serve other people. Because if that is important for you now, it means you need to be focusing your attention on the people, not you. And guess
Yeah.
what? It has been proven even scientifically that when you focus your attention away from your problem becomes smaller. Is that not what we're supposed to do in life?
I love it. I love it. And this is what and this is probably why there's quite a few coaches in the world, right? Because they're focusing away from their problems and focusing on other people's.
No, it's so true. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Because, of course, that is, we are here to serve. That really need to be really very well understood. All right, now, Michelle, I have another question for you. Now,
Yes.
we're talking about sustainability or sustainable business as a model. Now, tell somebody what are some of the prerequisites that need to be in place. Now, you know your vision, you know your mission, you know your purpose, you know what you are doing and why you are doing that. But what are some of the things you need to put in place so that the business you are building can be sustainable? Please give us some tips about that.
Yes. So, one of the things that we definitely need to do to make sure we run sustainable businesses, you need a team. You need a team. And as easy as it may be for me to sit here and say that, I know it's not easy to find the right people that make up your dream team. Finding the right people that can share the same vision, and even understanding that not all of them are going to run at the same pace as you. But when you find the first right person and they take some of the load of you, and they see and they plug into the vision. My God, it's a dream, it's a dream, it's a dream. I have one particular person like that, based in Dubai, and I'm telling you, oh my God, is he's like he is the replica of me. He is the replica of me, where we both stay up late. We're working on it. We want to deliver. We want the spirit of excellence in all we do. And I'm telling you, I just think to myself, oh, where have you been all my life? This is really great. And then from there, we build the business up so then we can bring in other team members who can help with the administration, help with sales, help with marketing, because we cannot do it by ourselves. It's a myth. It's a myth that we are doing all this work by ourselves. We definitely need a team to scale. And I also say so you need your immediate team. And then part of your scale is to make sure that you have a secondary team. And that means you need to make sure you have an accountant, you have a lawyer, all of these things. As you grow your business, you're going to need them. You need an accountant because of your taxes and your VATs. You definitely need a lawyer when people start chasing you for money or not paying you, and making sure, yeah, as you grow, you may want to trademark some of your products and your services. So these are some of the critical and actually I would say the basic. People think I shouldn't grow a team or get a team until I'm making a certain amount of money. I beg to differ. I feel that you should try and find somebody at the early stages and you both work together to grow the business. And it just makes it so much easier, so much easier. So I think building sustainable business is making sure you have a team, cash flow, cash flow. Making sure your outgoings are not higher than what you've got coming in. That's a major thing. When people talk about, oh, I'm a six-figure business owner, I'm a seven-figure, no one's talking about how much money is actually coming out of your account and how much cash flow do you really have. That's really important, is making sure you have cash flow. Really important.
Now, let's look at a life example. In A Classes Media, our organization, we are building a network where, of course, it's part of our bigger mission. We tend to be able to set up offices across the different cities in Africa for one specific objective. We want to be able to tap into businesses in the West and execute on them in Africa, in the sense that there are a lot of African young people today who are able to participate in the international market because the economy of the day is knowledge-based economy. You can connect with your smartphone, you can connect with your computer. You don't need to leave your home. You don't need visa. You don't need to leave your city. You can even live inside your village and still participate. But many of these individuals in Africa might not necessarily have the connection and the possibility of able to connect to other people. I'm not saying they cannot do businesses around, but our mission, since we are focusing mostly on African diaspora, we want to use one stool to kill two birds. One, we want to remind the people in the diaspora that they have a workforce in Africa they can rely on. One. Secondly, that we are able to work together as a team. So that since the day of Marcus Garvey, we have to continue to build on that mission that we have a common purpose. Now, because we are building that team, what would you recommend? This is a life example. This is actually what we are doing. What would you recommend for us to find the right people?
Yeah, I would say recommendations come in handy. I can tell you from now that my team, I have a team in Dubai. I have somebody who is running a team in Dubai, but the team members, they're all from Africa, all of them.
Oh,
My team who do my sponsorship, I've never met them. never met them. So I have many WhatsApp groups. So I have two who are doing my sponsorship. I have three that are helping with sales. My designers for all my graphics that you see, all from Africa. Yeah, my whole team's African. My PA is actually from the Philippines. My events organizer, she is from the UK, but everybody else is not. And that team was built on recommendations. I found one person, he was good. And I said, if you're good, hopefully you know other good people. So who would you recommend? Who who have you used? Who will be complementary to your skills? And that's how I found them. So he introduced me to another two people. My web designer, he's African as well. There you go. Recommendations. Recommendations.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And of course, we are going to be able to have a way of collaboration other than just this episode later in the future, because there is no people that cannot collaborate.
No,
There
yeah.
are no type of businesses that cannot collaborate. So we are entirely built on that. All right. Now, because I say that we are able to collaborate across different places as African, as people generally, it is important for somebody to ask now, but are there good collaboration? Are there bad collaboration? Are there good networking? Are there bad networking? What would you advise businesses about in terms of finding the right collaborators or the right networking for when they want to work with other businesses? What would you share
Yeah.
with us?
It's going to be trial and error. You're not going to find the right collaborator the first time. It will come, but you're learning. So, I would never think, oh, don't go into it, because there's some relationships that you build will be perfect and some won't be. But how I see it, collaborations and networking, all of that, are some of them are seasonal. So you need to just understand what season you're in. So I have one collaborator who now I'm his program partner. We've been doing it for 6 years now, and he's Italian. He's Italian. I had somebody else, a lady that we tried to work with each other. We were friends. It didn't work. It didn't work because, for a number of reasons, I found that jealousy sprung up. And I could see that she was celebrating me in private, not in public. So always watch out for those people who want to just text you on the side to say well done, but they will never say openly, because they're probably talking about you behind your back to somebody, and so they can't celebrate you openly. Those type of things were happening. So I thought, you're not a great collaborator. But to be fair, the time that we were together worked, and it was a season of transition. So I didn't expect her to stay. She had to go. I had to go. That was fine. So I always say that it's going to be, um, you have to test and measure these things, finding the right people. And remember, what you're good at, they don't necessarily have to be good at. And value, everybody has to bring value to the table, but the level of value that I might bring may be different from somebody else who I'm collaborating with. So you have to make sure you're not looking for the same level of work, but it could still amount to the same level. Do you understand what I mean? So I'm collaborating with someone. He does all the marketing. He is brilliant at the marketing. I'm very good at delivering a particular program. So he doesn't expect me to be showing up on camera every day to promote this program that we work on. He's very good at it. Now, his value is different from my value, but we both come together and it works. So that's why when you're looking for collaborative partners, don't look at it in equal, that they must give as equal measure, because that's not what real collaboration is. My collaboration could be 40%, yours could be 60%. We make 100% together. It doesn't always have to be 50-50. And that's what I think people think, that partnership or collaboration should always be 50-50. So it depends on the period of the year, it depends on what's happening. At some points, even now with my collaborator in Dubai, He is, I would say right now, he's doing 70. I'm only adding 30. Why? Because I'm working on another project at the moment. When that project finishes, it's going to be 50-50 again. So you have to understand and be very transparent, have a very open conversation, and to say, well, there's going to be some period of time I'm just not be able to give as much as I want to give because of A, B, and C. They understand that, and that's what true partnership is. You need to communicate. That's the bottom line. You need to communicate, and it works. Then it will work.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. Communication can be eliminated from that, because if you do, it's not going to work, particularly when you are looking at the cross-border collaboration and networking. Because if I'm not able to know what you have inside your head until you say it, I cannot know. No, I said maybe I have some supernatural power, which I believe that is beyond the scope of the conversation.
Exactly.
All right. What is really the power of this strategic networking in business? What is really the advantage? Why should businesses consider it?
Oh, it cuts the learning curve in half. And it gives you access. So the learning curve. So I don't know if you know, there's a brilliant entrepreneur called Vusi Fembakwaya, a South African guy. I got to spend some time with him, and I said, let's connect on a deeper level, and we exchange WhatsApp numbers. And I'm telling you, just having a 5-10 minute conversation with this guy, I'm just like, I've learned so much just in those 10-minute conversation that I would have to read an entire book or listen to an entire podcast or go back into learning. So that's already cut my learning curve in half. Also, the access. I deliver a lot of my work to corporates, but because I am starting to build a relationship with the buyers, the procurement teams, that now they know, like, and trust me. When I want to submit to do some work, my application goes to the top of the pile. Why? Because I have access. Why do I have access? Because I built those strategic networks. But you have to have patience. It takes time. You can't be sloppy. You can't want it to happen straight away. It's a waiting game. It's a test of perseverance and patience, but it pays off. I now have access to some incredible influencers, some incredible people that I don't leverage enough, because a lot of people said, "Oh, Michelle, you're writing your book. Why don't you get?" So they know that I know a couple of people. Why don't you get that person to write it? And I could do, but I know the relationship I have with this particular guy, and I don't want to use him in that particular way. So you need to know when to leverage your network, when to pull back a little bit, so it doesn't look like you're using them. But and I was saying to somebody in a meeting yesterday, when you build relationships at a personal level, these companies will open the door to you at a professional level. That's what I found. And I do it time and time again. I actually have a monthly budget that I put aside, and I call it my dinner budget. And the dinner budget is where I want to take out somebody who I have a lot of respect for, somebody who might be hugely successful or influencer, where lunch is on me, dinner is on me. Why? Because I want to sit down, I want to break bread, I want to talk more about you, I want to understand you, I want to see if we fit. That's what I do. And, it can cost me £150 a pop. £150 quite easily each time. But that financial investment, the return on investment in terms of the long-term relationship building, pays off in dividends.
That is strategy.
That is strategy. I'm telling you, it works. It works.
Thank you for that sharing. This is the last question, because of time again, that I'm asking you. Now, when you are in that period of strategic, I don't want to call it investigation, but it's more like that, because you are gathering data to be able to know whether this individual can be the right fit. I like that word. Okay, now let me share a little bit with you on this. In my signature program, which I just made mention of, we could easily have tell people we just pick them up, take them to the sales page, but we don't do that. We say, okay, we have some 21 questions that you need to respond to if you are interested, because we're not looking for just anybody. We are looking for the right fit. Because there are work to be done for these 90 days. It's not, you don't just come here and you get the result. If you are not really into it, you will not do the work. And if you don't do the work, you will not get the result. Therefore, it will appear as if the program is bad. No, the program is not bad. It's because you didn't do the work, therefore you cannot get the result. That is why we are saying, let's talk first. Okay,
Yes.
it costs money, yes, but let's talk first before we even take your money.
I've had people that I've given money back to. And I've done it because I didn't do my due diligence. So your questions are your due diligence. I didn't do that. And I took someone on and I thought, this is not going to work because you are going to leave this program saying you've got nothing for it. And I even now take on new people. When I take on new people, I have questions as well. But I like to have a conversation because I always say, what have you done before? And when they've told me that they've been with another coach, and I've said, ask, how was that experience? And then when they are cussing out that coach, saying, oh, the program was crap, and I always say, did the program meet your expectations? They'll say no. And I said, okay, so what did you expect from the program? What did you actually get? What did you do what the program asked you to do? Did you turn up to your sessions? Did you do your homework? Did you, if they asked you to do a particular thing, did you do it? And they said, oh, I didn't always do it. I didn't. And I said, okay. And when your coach said that, did your coach turn up for the sessions? Were you given work to do? Were you given access to resources, but you didn't use it? And I say, well, how can you say it didn't work when actually you didn't do the work? And I said, it's a lie. I'm telling you it's a lie. And I said, you're lying to me. And one particular woman, I had to say to her, before we work together, I need you to go and make peace with your old coach first. A, because I know who your coach was. And B, I don't want history to repeat itself. Not with me, not on my time, because I put a lot of time, effort, blood and sweat and tears into my program, and I know it works. So I need you to make peace with your old coach before we work together. She didn't, and we didn't work together.
Thank you for that. That is value. There are value in these things. It takes time, like you rightly said, to put this package together. Because somebody's going to pay $2,000 or $3,000, so you are going to disrepute your name. It's never going to happen. You are either the right fit for it, meaning you are ready to do the work. When we say wake up and do this, you do it. If you do everything that you are supposed to do, it didn't work, they come and hold me now.
Yes.
I think that is important.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. This is really important conversation. Briefly, how would you conclude it today?
How will I conclude? Well, this is something that I have to remind myself every morning. So many of us want to make an impact in the world. If you ask people what their purpose is, there will be something around, I want to make an impact in the world. But I always ask myself the question, and I want your listeners to ask this question themselves. How can you make an impact in the world if you're only tiptoeing through life? It's impossible. So you need to make an impact in your life. Wake up every day. Fulfill a part of your mission, of your purpose. Because that's the only way you're going to make an impact in life. So you cannot make an impact in life in the world if you're only tiptoeing through life. That's a reminder to me and to everyone listening.
That is good enough. That is good enough. That is a great message. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, sister. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.